Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and today we're going to be talking about the third part in the series of videos I just posted about breastfeeding, sleep training, and diet, and how that affects the need for orthodontics later in life. And basically, this is a call out to all three of these topics. Be sure that you watch the other two topics as well, because I won't be repeating myself, but they all are interconnected. As far as references, I recommend that you read the book Breath. It's written by a layperson, but he does a really good job going into the whole anthropological and archaeological research that supports what I'm saying. There has been very little research that's directly been done on this topic right here. Although, as you'll see in my other videos, not only myself, but many other dentists I talk to are anecdotally noticing a correlation between diet and the need for more severe, more invasive orthodontics later in life, and the need for even dual phase orthodontic treatment and early treatment. And I posted some pics here of my own kids who are now teenagers. They'll probably die if they saw this. But I want to show you I like to practice what I preach. And way back when I had babies, almost 15 years ago, I wasn't really thinking about their need for orthodontics. As a matter of fact, that was the least concern for me. I figured if they needed orthodontics, I can fix it. But I have resources that other people don't have. I can do these things for free, or at least for lab fees only, if they needed dual phase. But for an average layperson, an average American, an average UK resident, an average resident of the world, they don't always have insurance. They don't always have the resources. You're talking $5,000 per phase of treatment, or $4,000 for phase one and $7,000 for phase two per kid. If you have multiple kids, you're looking at $20, $30, $40, $50,000 if you don't have insurance. And even if you have insurance, it doesn't always cover unless things are really severe, or it only covers part. So this is a big deal. And I really think that I'm going to call out for any pediatrician who's watching this, any ENT who's watching this, any OBGYN who's watching this, to, if you're involved in a hospital or in a group or a university that can do research, I would love it if somebody would pick up this research study, a longitudinal research project where you can really start looking at the diet of infants, going from breastfeeding to food, eating food, all the way up to age 12, 13, 14, 15, and look at the direct correlation. So way back when, there's definitely a lot of parents out there who don't believe in baby food. They don't believe in processed food. Now, a lot of them make their own baby food, which kind of defeats the purpose. But if you read that book, Breath, that I mentioned, he does an amazing job going into various anthropological and archaeological cultures, both current, and past. People that live off the land, they're not making baby food. They're not eating baby food. They're not buying Gerbers. The way that even Native Americans only 100, 200 years ago, they breastfed exclusively till age 2, 3, 4. That's their source of liquids and nutrition. And when the child was ready, had to eat and had teeth, they'd eat just like an adult. They didn't smash their food up or anything like that. They chewed and they gnawed at bones and they gnawed at roots and vegetables right out of the ground. This is the really, paleo kind of diet, Things are not cooked, processed, mashed. You're eating almost like a caveman, the caveman diet. The benefits of this is that it encourages your jaws to grow forward the right amount so that you can get the right volume of airway that you need so that you can sleep. So this is all interrelated, which is why I mentioned all these different medical specialties and dental specialties. But it also grows to the right width, which allows the tongue to fit into the right space. So all of you SLPs that are out there should be interested in this. All you OMTs that are out there should be interested in this. Our kids and our parents are brainwashed that their kids need baby food, and that's really not true. I mean, granted, we have some soft foods here. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But for the most part, I didn't spoon feed my kids. I didn't feed them Gerbers. They didn't have that. If they wanted to eat, they had to eat like everybody else at the table. And yes, it could be messy at times, although I was really great about coming with, equipment when I went out to eat at restaurants, putting down the mats under, over. Never had any waitresses or waiters upset with me. Always cleaned up after my own kid, never let a mess. And they really kept themselves entertained. As a matter of fact, even at age, 6 months, once they could, they had some teeth and stuff and they could sit up, they'd sit there, 3, 4 times a day and entertain themselves for 30, 45 minutes at a time at the table eating. Of course, you have to watch them so they don't choke, but it's pretty amazing. And guess what? We didn't have a lot of orthodontic problems. So, and if you start doing sleep disorder breathing questionnaires and really putting in information, you can extrapolate on that and put information about feeding and questions and explain the why to the parents. And you're really going to learn a lot about how they fed their kids and how their kids still eat. So many parents feed their kids a really processed diet, instead of eating wholesome paleo type foods. And this is the most expensive and difficult part often for, modern parents. They're like, oh, wow, that's so much work, Whereas, if you're in a tribal culture in Vietnam or in Africa, that's how you eat. You eat how you eat. They don't see malocclusion in these cultures. And you can take a twin and you can move a twin from a tribal culture, at an infant to a first world culture, and the one that's in the tribal culture has no malocclusion, and they're identical twins, and the one in the first world culture has malocclusion. Surprise! It's directly related to all these factors. So anyways, putting the word out there, hoping someone will pick up this study and hoping that parents can become better educated about how important and critical this is. I know there's a huge food industry that's out there and people don't like to, to disparage certain types of industries because it affects people's livelihoods. But if there was a healthier way to feed our kids, not only healthy in terms of nutrition, but in terms of how their bones, jaws, and airways grow, how they feel, how they act, how they behave, I think that parents will get on board knowing this. They just are unaware. So that's why I'm putting this content out there. Thank you.